This is the first episode of my series where I review movies. I will start at the beginning of the series, and if I have all the DVDs, I'll make it to the end. The first episode is Friday the 13th from 1980. The movie starts with two campers back in 1958, leaving the rest of them to do the no-no. But they get interrupted during their no-no by a killer. Who could be doing this? Nobody knows. Then starts with a character named Annie going to a diner to try to find her way to the new camp, Camp Crystal Lake. It's reopened after the 1958 incident with the children. Somebody at the diner says, "I'll give you a ride," but then he can't drive all the way because he has something else to do, so then she gets the rest couple miles to walk. Then a woman named Pamela Voorhees drives up, offering to give her a ride. She drives a couple more miles, until the woman, Pamela Voorhees, drives past the sign for Camp Crystal Lake, and Annie gets a little bit suspicious. So she jumps out the window, and Pamela Voorhees runs after her in the woods to give our first kill of the movie, and the whole series. Then we see everybody else at camp that is already there, including a girl named Alice, obviously the final girl of this movie. Then the new manager of the camp leaves, not to be seen for practically the whole movie. For the next couple minutes, counselors are just fooling around doing dumb crap. But they are interrupted by a cop coming to look for the town hooligan, Ralph. Then when they're trying to make dinner, Ralph is in the pantry, like holy crap, and tells them that they're doomed, and that Camp Crystal Lake is also cursed. Then Ralph drives away on his beautiful little bicycle, and rain starts coming down terribly with lightning and everything. And then Ned, another counselor, sees somebody he doesn't recognize near another cabin. He is the second death of the movie. Technically the fourth if you include the children back in 58. Right before Ned dies, Marcy and Jack go to an empty cabin. Then Marcy and Jack do the no-no, just like the children in 58. And because of those children back in 58, now we know that doing that stuff is not allowed at camp. And will get you banned or murdered. Then Marcy needs to go to the bathroom, and then we're about to get one of the most memorable deaths in all of horror history. Then when Marcy is gone, Jack gets stabbed right through the neck with an arrow, taking its place as the third death in the movie. Right after Jack's death, the murderer goes into the bathroom, and Marcy thinks it's just Jack going into the bathroom. But really, it's the fourth kill on the list, Marcy getting stabbed right through the head with an axe. Then Brenda, Bill, and Alice, the final girl, play some games. Then Brenda realizes that her cabin door, she left it open and it's pouring outside, so she goes back to close them. And it's also tired, so she thinks that she needs a nap. And trust me, you'll get a nap, a very, very long nap. But when she's just ready to take that good nap, she hears screaming. She goes outside to check if somebody needs help, when in reality, she's gonna be needing help. It's so dark, she doesn't even notice that she's in the archery range. Then the lights blast on, and she's blinded by the lights and can't see the killer. And now we have a whole 5 kills on this list. So Bill went on a tiny walk outside, and he comes back to Alice's cabin. Alice is mentioning that she's been hearing screaming, and she mentions that it was probably Brenda. And the two of them go outside to see a bloody axe, the same one probably used on Marcy. They start to think it's real, but they don't really think it is yet. So they break into the manager's office, the one who's been gone the whole movie. Find, whoa, the phone lines have been cut. Who would have guessed? After that, they try to take Jack's car. But it's a horror movie. Obviously, the car doesn't start. And the only way to get back is a 20-mile walk through a pitch-black forest. And remember, it's raining. The manager is finally gonna come back after chilling at a diner. But his Jeep gets stuck in the mud. But a passing policeman came and saved him, and he offers him a ride to get him as close to the camp as he can. So the cop drops him off pretty close, and he walks the rest of the way, and gets us the 6th kill of the movie. Just to add, most of these kills are off screen, only a couple of them, such as Jack's and Marcy's, are on screen. Either way. And then the killer, still not known, disables the power. So Bill goes out to investigate it, but Bill doesn't return. I bet we can all guess what happened to him. So then Alice goes out to the cabin generator to try to find where the heck did Bill go. Not finding him in the cabin, she closes the door and finds his bloody body pinned to the door, giving us our 7th kill on the list. She's now terrified and freaking out. Finally, we're at the chase scene at the end. A couple seconds later, Brenda's body is thrown through the window. Finally, she's able to take that nap. Alice hears a vehicle driving up, and she runs out. Finally, the manager's here, right? But it's a middle-aged woman who introduces herself as Mrs. Voorhees. Later in the series, we find out that her name is Pamela, but she tells Mrs. Voorhees to run and get out of here before she's murdered too. but she wants to know if the deaths are true and she's not just being a troll. Mrs. Voorhees shows slight sadness at Brenda's dead body, but you can tell she's practically emotionless and barely cares. And that's why it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because you can really see just how emotionless she really is, and she really doesn't care. And she starts talking about how the manager should have never opened this place after what happened in 58. But then she talks about her son, Jason, and how that he drowned in 57 because of those people. Okay, so maybe I was wrong, it was 57, not 58, but big deal. But basically we find out that Mrs. Voorhees was the cook back in 57 when her little boy drowned, and that he wasn't a good swimmer and the people should have been watching him, but they were too lazy. Or doing the no-no, probably the no-no, but then she tells Alice that June 13th, or Friday the 13th, was Jason's birthday. So a minute ago I was talking about my favorite scene, but really this is my favorite scene. But then Pamela starts talking in Jason's voice, doing this red rum kind of thing, like in The Shining. But then Pamela accuses Alice of letting Jason drown. This happens a lot in the series where I guess any girl counselor is immediately the person that let Jason drown. It's really weird. And then Mrs. Voorhees pulls out a hunting knife, the same one used to kill multiple of the people, including the manager. And I guess I got this wrong too. Technically, you don't need to call him the manager. His name's Steve, but Steve's a terrible name. Manager would be a better name than Steve. And then she finally knows 100% that Pamela Voorhees is the killer. And one of the best chases of all of horror history happens right here. Basically, this is when the most basic horror stuff happens. Basically, she starts seeing all her friend's body, like, immediately for some reason. Then Mrs. Voorhees turns back on the power, I'm guessing to be able to see better? I don't really understand this part. Then Alice runs into a shed. It takes a good minute before Pamela catches up, but she gets a shotgun. But the drawer with all the ammunition is locked and she can't get into it. Then Pamela catches up in one of the weirdest attack scenes where literally Pamela just slaps her. Like, just slapping, you know? But Alice gets away and runs back to the main cabin. Mrs. Voorhees gets in the building but doesn't see her in the pantry right away. But after a while, she sees her in the pantry and starts trying to break down the door. But Mrs. Voorhees has a machete. Alice attacks her with a frying pan. Very effective way to kill somebody with a machete. Just so you know, if you're ever being chased, hit them with a frying pan. In the Friday the 13th game, though, you can literally hit him with a frying pan and beat the crap out of him. So I guess it does work in the game. She knocks her out and runs away. Alice sits by the lake, hoping it's over. I don't know why you'd sit by the lake, though, like it's boats there. Why don't you take it? But then she sees Pamela Voorhees run out of the darkness with her machete. Also, why did you not think of taking the machete? Like, I love this movie, but it has dumb stuff all the time. But Alice knocks the machete out of Pamela's hands and takes it, and they wrestle for a bit. Then Alice grabs the machete that she accidentally dropped while wrestling and decapitates her in one of the best scenes in horror history. Again. Finally, being smart for once, Alice gets in the canoe and paddles away. Then she falls asleep. Now, the best scene in the movie. How many best scenes? It's a lot of best scenes. She wakes up and it's morning. Happy music happens. You would think in the middle of the happy music something would attack, but it goes on for like 30 seconds straight, so nothing can happen. Until 12-year-old Jason jumps out of the lake with moss all over him and seaweed and crap and takes her down into the water. Then she awakes in the hospital, but when they ask about Jason, the police say they found nothing. And that is the end of the movie. Now we're at talking time, where I talk about the movie and my final thoughts. Now, this video was supposed to be like 1 to 2 minutes, and it ended up being a 9. So I worked really hard on this, so please thank me in the comments. But I do want to talk about the ending. Most people want to say, hey, that Jason pulling her underwater, it really happened. I've always thought it was a dream that she had, even if that spoils the fun. It's a dream, guys. Admit it, it's a dream. And now to my final review. I give this movie an 8.3. I hope you liked the video, and bye.